I was recommended a game recently that I had never heard of before called Phenomenon 32. Being a big fan of weird indie platformers, of course I had to check it out, and as you can tell by this video, I found it to be a game worth going over. The story setup goes something like this. In the 1940s, scientists create a new type of bomb, known as the reality bomb, a weapon so powerful that, when it's used, it destroys pretty much all life on Earth. A couple decades after this event, the few humans that are still alive on a moon colony set out on a mission to explore the ruins of Earth, gathering as many resources as they can, while trying to understand the new things that have appeared on their home planet, things that have been caused by this so-called Phenomenon 32, and the after effects of the reality bomb. Phenomenon 32 is very much an exploration and resource gathering type of platformer. It begins at the map screen where you first select an area you want to explore. From there, you're taken into a 2D platforming section where you control your ship, and you aim to make it to the end of the area alive, while gathering as many resources along the way as you can. The 4 main elements that you can collect are represented at the top of the screen next to your health, and these elements, along with more specialized parts that you can find, are used for upgrading your ship, as well as progressing the story back at main headquarters. The dev of Phenomenon 32 decided to include an instruction manual with the game, and reading this is very much not optional. Not only is this manual the only way to learn the controls, but it also contains other important information, like what types of weapons can break certain barriers. I don't like when this type of retro game design is used in modern games, as I think it would be much better if this information was just presented to the player in-game, but in the end the manual does its job if you read through it. Your ship's movement is somewhat janky and difficult to get used to at first. The generally slow pacing of enemy encounters, though, gives you time to make up for this. As the manual says, there's no time limit, and so there's no point in rushing. Where I think this game is at its best is when you have a new area to explore, and you're not sure what you're going to encounter, or even if you're prepared for it yet. The gameplay meshes well with the story in this regard. You may be on Earth, but it's not the planet that you recognize anymore. The music also helps a lot with this. Some of it is really excellent and atmospheric as you explore, giving a strong post-apocalyptic wasteland vibe. Surprisingly enough, the dialogue in this game is fully voice acted. It can be cheesy as hell sometimes, but I appreciate the lighter mood that it brings.
Presenting you the designs for a type of bomb based on Octium B. It should be quite useful, but please be very careful when building these things. The bombs, they explode.
Here's a little detail of the game that I thought was clever. Whenever you die, you get a message that the simulation was projected to fail, and it restarts you at the beginning of the area. Lore-wise, this means that every time you die, it was just a simulation, and the one true successful run is the one where you survive. I just wanted to point this out. I thought it was a creative way of handling game overs. Something that I have more mixed feelings on, though, is the resource gathering. Small resource deposits always respawn when you re-enter an area, and while this is necessary, it's also exploitable. Someone could theoretically just keep grinding the same areas over and over again, and get most of the upgrades in the game that way. It would be extremely boring, I think, but it's possible. Thankfully there is a limit, as you have to get to certain points in the story in order to unlock more upgrades. While there are aspects of Phenomenon 32's story and themes that I liked, especially one thing which I'm carefully avoiding showing in this footage, and I'll get to in a short spoiler section at the end of the video, one thing I honestly didn't like much was the ending sequence. I appreciate the messages it was going for, but it just felt too overdone for me, mostly because of all the different audio clips that were playing. That's just me though. You can tell the developer had a real passion for these subjects, and I can't fault him for that. That might be a good summary for the whole game, really. A passion project that someone clearly spent a lot of time on, regardless of what you want to say about the engine that was used to make it. It was a lot of work that seems to have mostly been forgotten by time. Seriously, there's almost no footage of this game anywhere, and it's 14 or 15 years old by now. It's a bit of a shame, really, because even with the issues I've mentioned, I had a good time with Phenomenon 32 most of the way through. It's not one of my favorite games by any means, but if you like exploration platformers, and space themes, and Carl Sagan, then this might be the type of game worth checking out. It's hard to say exactly how long my playthrough took, because I was dumb and didn't record all of it, but I want to say around 8 hours, which is not too long at all. Despite what the manual might say, I didn't find the game to be especially difficult either. It's at its toughest in the beginning, when you're still getting used to the mechanics and don't have many resources, but by the later parts, I think you're given more than enough upgrades to handle any area. Getting to that point is the hardest part, I guess, but it was all worth it for something special that happens. And this is where I go into some spoilers for anyone who's not planning on playing the game themselves. I'm including this section because I imagine a lot of people are not going to play it anyways. If there's even a slight chance that you might want to though, please don't watch the rest of the video. It's a secret that's worth discovering for yourself. With that final warning though, here's what happens. Maybe you can see my excitement in the footage even without words. Suddenly, there's color, and it doesn't just stop with a little bit of red. As you explore the final few areas, you start to find places that are almost entirely in color. What Phenomenon 32 is the creation of new life, in this case brought about by the reality bomb. The color represents areas where this new life is really beginning to grow and flourish, and this was by far my favorite part of the game, both gameplay and story-wise. Humanity may never be able to inhabit the planet again, but life will continue on, even if it's in a different form. And on that note, hopefully you got a little something out of this, even if you don't plan on playing the game yourself. And I'm always open to more platformer suggestions. That's all for now. See you next time.